Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to At Your Own Pace.
When you're first starting out, like, it's gonna be hard. That doesn't mean that you don't belong there.
I can do whatever, and it's just me being a ridiculous dad that wants to do some good in the world.
I can do this, I am going to do this, and I will do this.
If you're an early morning, 4 a.m. alarm person to get your run in, or you're like me who likes to sleep in and so you'll run at 7 p.m. Either way, it's hard, and I'm going to cheer for you, get to your goals. And if you don't, I'm going to be the shoulder for you to lean on as well.
It's forced me to get myself uncomfortable. And I think I've started to get that comfort with the uncomfortable.
Why don't I deserve a chance to be happy and not beat myself up over a bad run?
In more ways than one, running probably saved my life.
I'm Mike from Mike Runs Marathons, and I believe that running has the power to change how we see ourselves, how we show up in the world, and how we connect with each other. At Your Own Pace is a place for honest conversations about growth, resilience, identity, and the courage it takes to keep moving forward when things feel hard or uncertain. Every guest who comes on this show brings a story that reminds us that we're not alone in our journey and that you don't need a PR, a podium, or a perfect training plan to belong here. You just need the willingness to keep showing up. She is a runner, a proud pug mom, outdoor enthusiast, and considers herself a certified Swiftie, and is a very passionate mental health advocate. She brings a feminist lens and a whole lot of heart to everything that she shares. And yes, she likes animals more than most people, which honestly feels correct. So please welcome Marie to At Your Own Pace. Thank you so much, Marie. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. I'm really happy and excited to share your story and to kind of follow along with where you were, where you're at, and where you're going.
For sure, of course. I'm so excited to be here. First time on a podcast.
That's awesome. First time for everything, and hopefully this won't be the last.
Yeah, hopefully.
So I want to start with some just kind of origin questions, beginning kind of with the basic of before running was a part of your identity, who were you?
Yeah, so actually, funny story is like throughout middle school, high school, I was actually involved in competitive figure skating. And so I feel like running was just a little bit part of my training for that. Like, kind of, we would do other kinds of conditioning and everything off the ice. And then as I got into college, as my schedule became a little crazier, structured time on the ice and skating is something that doesn't obviously last forever, especially for someone that didn't start until they were 12, 13. That's like ancient in the figure skating world. So I was just kind of looking for a way to continue staying fit. And I had some friends from high school that were involved in just like casual running. So I started doing that. And then I think it was 2019, my best friend said she signed up for a half marathon. So I said, cool, I'm going to sign up for that too, never having done more than a 5K. And here we are.
I feel you on the peer pressure part.
Yeah.
So much. Oh, when you first started running, because from what I'm hearing is you kind of were doing it kind of on and off a little bit when you were training for figure skating. I kind of did the same thing, actually. I was in marching band in high school. And one of the things that they actually did to us to punish us was make us run laps. So
yes, our sport are other people's punishment, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. But so you said that you hadn't run more than a 5K when your friend signed up for this half marathon. What kept you going beyond that 5K? Like what mindset, what mentality kept you going?
I think more than anything, just like what it did for my mental health, because I ran my first 5K in college and it was actually part of a mental health. I majored in psychology, and one of our classes, which was called health psychology, one of our projects was we were supposed to like do something basically like for our mental health and to improve our health, whether it was physical or mental. And basically my project was about like running and how it affected my mental health. So I was just planning on doing like the 5K. I wasn't necessarily planning on continuing it further than that, but I still remember like being in, and to be fair, like for this 5K, I did not follow a structured training plan. Like I just went out and ran a little bit when it felt good, and I did most of my training on a track because that was how I knew I could measure my miles. I didn't have like a running watch at that point, so I was like, okay, 4 laps on the track is a mile. I know I did that. But then like being at my first 5K and being in the corrals for that, it was part of like our big city St. Louis marathon. So I was listening to people who were doing the 5K on Saturday and then planning on doing like the full marathon the next day, and just hearing them talk about it and hearing a guy who was like, I'm pretty sure in his 70s, talking about how like, oh, this will be my, 20 something marathon. My goal is just to finish. And it was very inspiring. You have this idea on the outside of the running world that to be a marathoner, I don't know, like it has to be the people that you see on TV, like professionals. And you don't realize how, like, literally anyone can do this. People of all different ages, people that look all different ways. And then as I continued with it, I think I just noticed the improvements in my mental health, and just it's hard not to be sucked into the running community that is, for the most part, I think so supportive.
Absolutely. It's funny you mentioned the person talking about their 20 something marathon, because I did a
Hmm.
5K over the weekend, and
Yeah.
I'm standing there. They're about to announce the winners and everything. And this guy is talking to his friend. He's a little bit older, and he's like, what marathon is coming up? What number? And he goes 138.
Yeah.
And I was like, you just said
Yeah.
that so nonchalantly, like it was
Yeah,
nothing.
20 something now, like in retrospect, is like, it's still impressive. But now I know people in the running community that have done, over 100, that have done them in every state more than once. And
Hmm.
it's like, yeah.
It's wild. Like the more people that you meet in the running community, you think that there's like a level that you can get to, and then you find someone that's like three levels above that.
Right.
It's insane. But it's so inspiring because it just, as you pointed out, you hear these people talk about running a marathon.
Hmm.
My best friend I used to live in New York City. Her best friend ran the New York City Marathon in 19, and she talked about supporting her during the race and how inspiring it was just to watch her meet them in the Bronx
Hmm.
and be able
Yeah.
to provide her with that extra level of support when you're at mile 20, 21, and you're in the pain cave.
Yes.
And that really inspired me to want to kind of get in the action and be a part of that.
Hmm.
Now, so you talked about getting started for your mental health and the
Hmm.
class that you took. Was there
Yeah.
a memory or some sort of moment early in your running journey that
Hmm.
sticks with you, that kind of was like an aha moment of, that I like this, running is for me and I want to keep doing
Yeah. I wouldn't say like immediately in that first year that I was doing like the 5K, but I think a couple years later when I signed up for the half marathon, because my friend did, throughout all my 5Ks and everything, that was kind of the furthest I had ever run, was like that kind of 3-4 mile mark. And I remember always thinking like it would be cool if I could run 5 miles someday. Like that was a feat that seemed out there, that seemed impossible at the time. I was the kid that would like cry over running the mile in gym class. Like I hated it. I got anxiety all year about it. And then I remember doing that when I was doing my first half marathon training, and it being easier than I anticipated it being. And that kind of seemed to open up like a new world of possibilities for me. So, yeah, I would say that. And granted, that was in the gym on a treadmill. So it was different than it what feels now, but yeah.
Listen, I started training on a treadmill because
Yeah.
I hate running outside in the cold, and I started running probably like early fall, so it was starting to get colder. I have Raynaud's, so my hands freeze up when it
Yeah.
gets really, especially right now because it's freezing
Yeah.
outside, and so like it literally is physically painful. So I trained for the first probably 6 months just on a treadmill.
Yeah.
So ain't nothing wrong with
Yeah.
running your first miles on a
Now,
treadmill.
right. Now I hate the treadmill. I do everything I can to avoid it. But yeah, it is necessary sometimes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we talked about how running gave you confidence and helped your mental health, and you ran that half marathon, and I'm sure it probably broadened your horizons and made you realize, oh, I can go further if I really
Yeah.
trained and did this. So
Yeah.
when you run now, if we look at right now,
Hmm.
what is usually on your mind? Is it a PR? Is it like mental clarity? Is it something else that you're chasing, that you're trying to get down?
It depends on the day. I mean, I run first and foremost for my mental health, but I also think about PRs, especially because I think even though I'm still definitely not fast or what most people would consider fast, I'm a lot faster than I used to be. So my first marathon, my first full marathon was Chicago in 2022. And I got into that on lottery, and it was amazing. I mean, Chicago's an amazing race, but it was also survival mode, and I technically finished over that 6.5 hour cutoff. So like I had a medal, I'm listed as a finisher. I don't think it counts as far as like having a star goes, as far as attending one of the world majors. So since then, I've taken well over an hour off of my marathon time. So like from where I used to have to look at marathons and kind of look for that marathon that had maybe a 7 hour cutoff, now I'm happy that I don't have to do that anymore, and I don't have to think about like requesting the early start, and that I'd like to see how far I can get my time down. I had a marathon a little over 2 weeks ago now, and I was wanting to go sub 5:30, and I was 5:38, but granted, the course was, all my other marathons had been very flat marathons, and this one was very hilly. So I'm like, okay, maybe if it had been flat, like maybe my next flat marathon, break 5:30.
That's awesome you ran Chicago in 2022, because that was
Yeah.
the first time I ran Chicago too.
Yeah.
I ran with the charity, so that's really cool that we actually ran that together.
Yeah. It was a good day from what I remember. Like the weather was good and everything. I know a lot of people went out too fast because of that.
Yeah, I was one of those people
Yeah.
trying to break a sub 4, and that did not happen.
Yeah.
But that is unfortunately the marathon. Anything can
Mhm.
go wrong at any moment during the race, no matter how
Mhm.
big or small. Oh, you talked about, your running goals, or when you go to run, is different based off of kind of what's
Yeah.
going on at the moment, whether you're training for a marathon, trying to bring down your finish time, increase your pace, or if it's just for the mental clarity.
Yeah.
Is there any sort of running goal that you have that means more than a finish time? That's something that's more
Yeah.
emotional, personal?
Yeah, I mean, I think earlier this year I sort of had that just because, so I've done actually going from half marathon to marathon to now talking about the ultra world. I've done two 50Ks, and part of that was because I have a fiance who I met also in the running community, and he is an ultra marathoner. So I've been roped into that a little bit through him, but the 50K I had this year it was very tough mentally to get through. I had actually this past spring, I DNF'd my first race ever, which was a marathon, a road marathon. And part of that was because the day before the race, we had to put down our cat, who is 16 years old. And then I made it like 12.7 miles. Neither of us were having fun, me and my fiance. So we just kind of noped out. And then I signed up for another marathon like a month later, and I was sick. I had an ear infection. I was having vertigo. So it's kind of just hard to get back into that, like they say, once you DNF, once you step off, it's so easy to like kind of resort to that, like when things are going hard. And so I was around like mile 14, 15 of my 50K, knowing I had 15 plus miles to
Mhm.
go. And it was a really tough mental space. So that race, I mean, I did not PR at that race. I did not have a time I was particularly proud of, but having that finisher medal for that race, I think that is honestly a race that I'm probably more proud of, just because I went through a lot of things mentally, emotionally to get there. So like, even though it wasn't my best time, I know, what I love most about running is that feeling when you think you can't go any further, but then you do it anyway.
Yes.
So, I would say that matters more to me than a particular like PR or finish time.
I completely agree with you 100%. I mean, I love what Kipchoge says, which is, no human is limited. And the one thing that you learn in a marathon when you're in the pain cave, and I mean, there have been many times where I have called my wife during my marathons, being like,
Hmm.
I fucking hate this. I
Yeah.
did the Berlin Marathon in September. It was 80 degrees
Oh my
and
God.
no
That sounds
no cloud covering. I
miserable.
got such bad sunburn, and I called her at mile 17. I was like, I want to quit. Like, I don't want to do this. And, those are the moments where you learn so much about yourself,
Yeah.
about not
And
quitting.
I think I've been incredibly fortunate that I've had my fiance there with me in a lot of my races, because he's a runner and he is faster than me, so he can like pace me at a
Mhm.
lot of my events. But he's also had to listen to me complain and be dramatic a lot of times in these events, and he's kind of had to coach me through those moments. So I know I'm lucky in that regard, but I've also crewed for him at his ultras, so I've seen him in
You've
less
seen
than
him.
great scenarios
Yeah.
too.
So you've seen it. You've seen it one way. He's seen it the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. I got my wife to do her first 5K 2 years ago,
Awesome.
and it was really funny because I got a video of her crossing the finish line. She came up to me and she was like, "I loved crossing the finish line. I hated everything else before that."
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Touche. That makes
Yeah.
that is absolutely true. And I was training her last year because she was going to try to qualify for New York. And
Awesome.
I remember we would go out and run walk, and she would complain the whole time. Just
Hmm.
be like, I can't breathe. I hate this. I don't like this. I want
Yeah.
to go home. And I'm like, just get to this mailbox. Just get to this tree, and then
Hmm.
you'll be okay. And then we'll walk a little bit. And those are the moments where you think I can't go on, and you just take one extra step. You just put one foot in front of the other, as you
Hmm.
pointed out, and you get to a level that you realize, you look back and you go, I thought that was me back there. I'm up here now. I guess
Yeah.
I guess I can do this.
Hmm.
Balancing running and your training with your work, your relationships, your mental health, the stress that comes up. How are you able to balance it? I know you're also getting married soon, so I know
Yeah.
that's really stressful.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think I have it kind of fortunate because to a degree, for me, that all goes together. I work and run specialty, and I am engaged to an ultra runner. So, like, obviously, we all prioritize similar things. We have a somewhat later start to our work days than a lot of people at a running store, opening between 10 and 11. So, they do that so their employees have time to run in the morning if they want to. Um, and also, like, they're going to, if you request off for something like a race, a marathon, that's going to be entirely understandable. But I'm not saying still it isn't difficult. There's still time restraints. There's still things like that. I just think the accountability is big, having someone around that is also running and training, and we can kind of rely on each other for that accountability. We met each other through both working and run specialty. Uh, we met there, working there in 2021, and yeah, now we're here.
That's incredible. That is also really good luck, with
Yeah.
being able to find somebody who's in the running community, and who understands it and supports you in it, and is able to do it with you, which is
Yes.
fantastic. Now, I know you talked about your DNF when your cat passed away, and
Hmm.
that sounds like a really, really difficult race mentally.
Yes.
Has there been a time, that you can either example, or if you have another one, of a time when you doubted your path as a runner, and you questioned it as to whether or not you either belonged in the running
Okay.
community as a runner, or if you were choosing the right distances or things like that.
Yeah, I would say I don't know if I would point to any like one specific instance, but I would just say in general being a slower runner. I have done the run walk method for a long time. Now I have longer runs than I used to, but like when I was training for Chicago in 2022. So I joined working in run specialty, working at a Fleet Feet here in St. Louis. I joined like the Fleet Feet running club here, which I mean, I was already working there, so that just made sense. And I had been in that club since before I worked there, but joined the marathon training program. We have all different pace groups. And we were like the first ever, we were like, there hadn't been a marathon training group for our speed before. Like we were the guinea pigs in terms of that pace. Previously been like you had to be at least this time to be training for the marathon. And so it was me, and then it was two other girls, Katie and Amanda. And then Katie's husband, Tom, who was our coach, and he had been in the program for a long time, and we called ourselves the Turbo Turtles, and we all had stuff from, I don't know if you've heard of the running brand Sprints, but they have like the fun patterned hats and stuff. So we had the turtle patterned hats and singlets and all kinds of stuff like that. So that helped a lot, but I still get comments from people in the running community. I've had customers tell me at work, you don't look like a runner. And I've had, seen things where people say this pace isn't running, it's walking. It makes me self-conscious of my own mile times, even when I tell myself it shouldn't be, even when I know I wouldn't ever tell someone that I wouldn't tell someone that a, 13-minute pace isn't running. I still look down and I see I did a 12:30 and I don't mean to, but I speed up. Like it's easy to start second guessing yourself when you hear so much. I think for the most part, the running community is really positive and really supporting, but you get those people both online and in person. So I think it's just easy to think like, should I really be doing this? Should I be pretending like I'm a marathoner when I walk some in every marathon that I do? But I know better. I know that's not the case, but I understand why it's easy. I'm sure with like newcomers to the sport too, like seeing that kind of stuff on the internet, how easy it could be to give up.
Oh yeah. I think that's probably the biggest issue with people that want to get into running that are afraid to, and it's because they think, oh, I should be running a 7-minute mile immediately, and if I can't after my first, second, third run,
Yeah.
I'm a failure and I need to quit because I'm not a runner.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people on the internet who post that, and I try to make it a habit to respond to it
Same.
because it is not fair, because the majority of those people that are probably saying that are people that don't run. They probably don't exercise as much as you do or at all.
Right.
And I always think of the quote, you'll never meet a hater who's doing better than you.
Yes.
I try to remember that whenever I have anybody comment on anything of mine, or if I see anything like that for anybody else, because the last thing that we want, I mean, you probably have seen this working at Fleet Feet, the running just sport in general has exploded in the last
Yes.
5 years.
Absolutely.
And it's wonderful. There's so many more people that are running, so many more people that want to run for their mental health, that want to run to get healthier, lose weight, run these marathons, run races, or just run for fun.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that the sport is as inclusive as possible for everybody.
Yeah.
Whether you run a 4-minute mile or if you run a 15-minute mile, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
We're all
Yeah.
going in the same direction.
Yes.
The one thing that I also love is when you do a marathon, you and the winner cross the same finish line and you get the
Yes.
same medal.
Exactly.
Like,
Yes, because I love being on. I wasn't there. I was in Chicago in 2022, not 23 when the world record was set. But I was thinking about that I was like, I love that I can run on a course the same day, same course as that the world record could be set. So I love that philosophy a lot. But, kind of touching on what you said about like seeing that firsthand working at Fleet Feet. One thing I always make sure to ask people when I sit down with someone is, because we fit a lot of people that aren't necessarily even runners. We fit a lot of walkers. We fit a lot of people like just in pain for work shoes, things like that. But I never want to assume why they're there. I never want to assume that someone is there not for running. So I'm always like, what are you using these shoes for? Are you running, walking? And a lot of people will get like, oh no, I don't run. And I'm like, okay, well, like, I wouldn't have known that. Like, what does a runner look like?
mm-hmm.
Like, do I look like a runner? I'm like, I don't know. Sure. Like, running doesn't have one look or one type. But one thing I do also hear people say a lot is, I run, but I'm not a runner. And I'm like, well, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Like, because you don't race? Because you don't, like, you're a runner.
Mm-hmm. If you put one foot in front of the other, you lace up your shoes, you go outside, you get on the treadmill.
Yeah.
You're a runner. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what pace you are.
For sure.
We talked about how running has helped your mental health, how you've kind of been able to face a lot of struggles while racing, and how it's helped you in your own struggles outside of that. And I want to know kind of beyond running, what impact do you hope that your own running journey has on people who follow you, or will listen to this podcast?
Yeah, I mean, I really would like to, and I need to get better about just being consistent about posting about running and on social media. But I just want to especially be a voice for, the slower runners, the people that don't necessarily feel like they are a runner, or like that they belong at, whether it's a world major, whether it's just their city marathon, whether it's a 5K, because I know it's so easy to fall into those traps of seeing one image in the running community and assuming when everyone's posting about BQs and about, I don't know, a lot of different, qualifications and achievements, which is all awesome. I want to see that, and I think that's awesome, and I would love that. But like realistically, I know me and my running journey, like I'm never going to be Q, and that's okay. I have my own goals and my own aspirations, and it's still definitely a worthwhile journey to be on. Running is being a runner and being a pug mom. Those are like the two most important like things I see myself as today. So my pug is sitting right underneath me right now,
Aw.
snorting. So
What's your pug's name?
Waffles.
I love that.
Let's see if I can get her up. Waffles.
Oh my god, she is so cute.
She's gonna be a flower girl in my wedding.
I love that so much. My aunt had pugs. I
Yeah.
think she's had 4 or 5 of them so far
Yeah.
since I was a kid. Oh my god, she's so cute.
Yeah. She thinks she's a runner. She thinks she wants to go outside and run, but then she can't make it very far without
yeah.
snorting.
Mm-hmm. No, so cute. I love it. So these next 2 questions, one, I want to look forward, and then I want to look backwards. So let's start with forward first. And you kind of touched on this because you have goals in mind. How do you see yourself evolving as a runner in the next? We could do 5 years, we could do 3 years, even a year.
Yeah. One thing that I really want to get better at is strength training. I mean, I strength train a lot more than I used to, but I just want to become. I know there's a lot of aspects, both speed and just by feeling stronger on my runs, that I could get better about. So I want to get better at that. I'm really hoping that I can get back to Chicago next year, because I want to do Chicago again, having taken so much time off of my marathon time now and be able to feel like I'm actually racing it and not just surviving it. So we'll find out about lottery tomorrow. Results come out tomorrow. If I don't get in lottery, then I may look into a charity route as well. It's just been, obviously it's been a busy year with wedding planning and everything. But yeah, I mean, I would like to. The marathon's my favorite distance. I see myself prioritizing the marathon still. But like I said, I've done 2 50Ks, and I feel like probably eventually my fiance will rope me into a 50 miler, because he's training for 100 right now. And yeah.
That is dedication. I've thought about going into the ultra realm, and then most of them are trails, and I
Yeah.
go trail running, and I'm terrible at trail running.
Like my ultras have been like rail trails, like very flat gravel trails. So like that is the extent of what I will do. Like and I think part of it is still that I am slower than the average runner, because like that's even slower on roads. I get on trails and I feel just like really, really slow. I feel like I'm barely running. So I will let Matt, my fiance, stick to the trails, and then I make fun of him. I make him run on roads because he's more of a trail runner than I am. But I love hiking, so it doesn't really make sense. You'd think I would love trail running too, but I don't.
Yeah, I my issue with trail running is I trip a lot.
Same.
And there have been many times where I'm very surprised that I did not break my ankle with the way that I
Yes.
fall and land.
Yeah.
My goodness. Now, looking backwards, if you were to go back to day one of running, let's say you see
Yeah.
day one Marie starting out with running for the first time. You run the 5K, you signed up
Yeah.
for the half.
Yeah.
If you could give that person one piece of advice from where you're at now, what would that be?
Believe in yourself more. I mean, I don't want to say don't give up as easily, because I obviously didn't give up. I'm still running, but just like, don't listen to the pace critics, do you. And also, like, strength train and do what you can outside of just running, to involve yourself in the community, which is all stuff like I eventually did. I just think like doing it sooner would have been beneficial, because I spent a lot of time in my own head about whether, I should be doing this, and not really knowing about running and how to train and things I could be doing just to help myself feel better, massaging and foam rolling and things like that. But yeah, just believe in yourself, don't give up. Running's gonna suck at first. When you're first starting out, like, it's gonna be hard. That doesn't mean that you don't belong there and that you're not gonna enjoy it. It's just you're starting out with anything new. Like, trust the process and know you're gonna grow from there.
I love how those of us that are, I don't want to say seasoned runners, but people who have done
Yeah.
these races and run
Yeah.
for at least a little bit, their first advice to everybody is it's gonna suck.
Yeah,
It's
for
so funny. Like,
sure.
we love running, but it's
Yeah.
gonna suck.
Yeah.
And I love that piece of advice, because you would not expect that from people who love something,
Yeah.
but it is
And I
it's so true.
still absolutely have runs that suck even now. Like, it's not going to be 100% enjoyable all of the time. It's just something that it's going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
Like with anything, when you start out, you're probably not going to be amazing at it right away.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely true. That is 100% correct. I remember, my goal when I first started running, because I would get on the treadmill and press start, and the treadmill would just go for 20 minutes. And I just wanted to run that whole 20 minutes without stopping. And that took me months. And it was terrible at first. I couldn't run more than like 20 seconds. And then it built up from there. I remember I tried to run my first 10K on a treadmill, and I would always stop halfway through. And I would tell myself, there's no way that people would run for 6 miles completely without stopping. Everybody has to stop in between and pause and get a drink or catch their breath. And that's what I taught myself for some reason, that during the entire beginning. And it eventually evolves and it gets better. And it still sucks at times, but you find that it doesn't suck as much as it used to.
For sure. Yeah.
Hey everybody, before we get into our last segment, I wanted to take a quick moment to thank today's sponsor, and that is For The Run. For The Run is a running apparel company that creates really high quality shirts, hoodies, and everyday gear designed for runners who care about the why they run just as much as they care about how fast or how far they can go. Their clothing is comfortable, durable, and made to be worn on runs, to races, and in everyday life, all while carrying messages that celebrate mental health, community, and personal growth through running. If you're someone who believes running is about more than performance and likes wearing gear that reflects that mindset, For The Run is absolutely worth checking out. You can find them at forthe.run. And if you use the code FTR-Mike Runs Marathons, you can save 10% off your next purchase. This next segment is just quick fire questions. I call it the hot seat. So you give me your answers just off the top of your head. I think I probably know some of these answers already, but I'm going to say them anyway. Trail or road?
Road.
Favorite running shoe brand right now?
Asics.
Okay.
Just because of the Super Blast.
Good shoe.
Yeah.
Good shoe.
Yeah.
Sweet or savory post-run meal?
Ooh, that depends on. Normally I would say sweet, but like after every marathon I've ever done, we've always gone for pizza. So maybe savory should be the right answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is the one piece of running gear that you can't live without?
I guess I shouldn't say shoes. I should say like something else, like socks. Good socks.
Yes.
Because everyone underestimates the importance of good socks. And I always tell people, like, when I'm working, at a running store, I'm not trying to sell you on a specific brand necessarily. Just don't wear cotton, because cotton socks are going to suck. Like, you're going to get blisters.
Yeah. I finished a run the other day and I tore up the top of my foot because my socks were too thin.
Yeah.
Now, the final portion of the podcast is to answer two questions that I am going to take back and share it with other people.
Okay.
And the first is what I call the motivation library. And so what I want you to give me is one quote or a mantra or a line that gets you through the tough miles.
Do what you think you can't do.
I like that. And then I want you to picture yourself running Chicago in 2026. You're crossing the
Okay.
finish line, right?
Yes.
What song do you want to play as you cross that finish line?
Well, that's a good one. I don't know, maybe because of the recent album release, I'm gonna say "The Life of a Showgirl."
Okay, okay. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
I titled, I think the day after that album came out, I titled my run on Strava like the life of a runner girl.
Oh my goodness, I love that. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Marie, that's all the questions that I have for
Okay.
today. I really want to
Sounds
thank
good.
you for your story,
Of
your
course.
heart, your miles that you went through with us today. The
Yeah.
way that you show up for runners and for individuals from a mental health advocacy standpoint, and for
Yeah.
the community with the people that you help with their own running journeys
Yeah.
is really special, and it's really inspiring. You really remind us that running doesn't have to be perfect in order to be
Yeah.
powerful, and
Yes.
that it can just be ours individually, and that our own stories are just as important as anybody else's.
For
And
sure.
I'm really grateful for you to join me today on At Your Own Pace.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Thank you so much for tuning in to At Your Own Pace. Whether you're walking, jogging, racing, or just dreaming about getting started, you belong here. Until next time, keep running your story 1 mile at a time, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Can we do it?